Hey guys, this is Seb here, and today we're going to be watching a game between the greatest of all time, Magnus Carlsen versus Richard Rapport, in a classical chess tournament called the GRENKE chess tournament in Germany. The top players in the world are participating in this tournament. You've got on top Magnus Carlsen, the current world champion Ding Liren, Richard Rapport, Maxime Lagrave, or Maxime Lagrave. I'm not French, I don't know how to pronounce it. Maxime Lagrave, something like that. We've got the 19-year-old chess protege Vincent Keimer. It's a double round robin. That's what it's called. I don't know why. Well, basically, they all play each other 2 games, once in white, once in black. You know, it's a fun tournament. They are 45-minute games. You get additional 10 seconds for each move. So let's see how this game started. E4, Caro-Kann defense. I love the Caro-Kann. I think the most played move in this position is pushing this pawn, because after you take, I push, and now I want my pawn back. I personally play this line, but this wasn't played in the match. What was played instead is bishop to f5, followed by h4, which is called the Tal variation. There is actually a trap for black in this position, because if you play something like, this, open up for that dark squared bishop defending that, boom, you move it, boom, move it again, boom. Now that bishop is done for. Magnus obviously saw all of that, so he played h5. And now, developing the bishop. You know what, give me that bishop. Okay, I'll take with the queen. Now queen to a5 check. The best move on the engine is knight to d2, covering the check, but Rapport played c3 instead. Develop. Magnus wants a pawn break. He wants to open up that center. Rapport took the pawn, and Magnus took with the queen, not with the bishop, because if you take with the bishop there is a lovely fork in here. We don't want that, of course. So Magnus took with the queen, and then put pressure on this pawn, develop the knight. That knight can be dangerous. Let's say move to here, tempo on the queen, then to here, dangerous square. So Magnus decided to get him out, just get him out of the game. The engine is suggesting this move. You can't go to here. You have to do something like 1, 2, I don't know. Magnus just said, get him out of the game. Take with the rook. Now, give me that pawn. Castle. So is Rapport just gonna leave that pawn? What do you guys think? Should Magnus take? Let's see. If he takes, take with the knight, take with the queen, and then queen to b5 check. You move the queen. You don't take this pawn. You move to queen to b4 check. Cover with the knight. You don't take the pawn. Bishop to f4. Give me that queen. You know what? I'll move. If you take the pawn, I'll take the bishop. Everything's good. No, everything's not good. Of course I'll take the pawn with a tempo on the rook. You'll have to move the rook. And now, bishop to here. This is completely winning for white. Look at that bar right there. No. Plus 2.5 advantage. So Magnus, he obviously saw all of that. So he played knight to e7. Defending the pawn. Develop. I think that move, what was meant, let's say you castle, I can play the knight here, and now I want this pawn, But he played this pawn here. Give me a knight, please. No, thank you. I'll move it. and then develop castle. That pawn is hanging, right? Should Magnus take it or should he not? He should totally take it, but he didn't. He took the central pawn instead. So, Rapport, he took the knight, and now Bishop pinned the knight to the queen. I think Magnus should have just taken this pawn, you know. I don't know why he didn't take it. Maybe he saw something no one else saw. I don't know. So, how are you going to defend this knight? Pushing the pawn, of course. So now, this pawn is dead. Magnus moved the queen, you know, getting rid of the pin with a tempo. So now Rapport has to respond. Exchanged queens. He took with the knight, got back with the bishop. Develop. Give me your rook. No thank you, I'll move it. Now give me your pawn, because after this move, and I take the knight, this pawn is completely mine. Let's make a deal. You take this pawn, I take this pawn. Even. Alright, deal. Let's do that. Now, give me this pawn and give me the bishop. You can have the bishop, but I want this pawn. Not going to give it to you. I'm not going to take the bishop. I'm going to move here instead. Knight to d2. I want that fork. Give me your rook. And I also want that pawn. So what are you going to do? Alright, you can have the pawn. There you go. Now I blocked the defense of this rook to this pawn. King, king. Pawn pushing. Give me the knight, please. No, thank you. Now give me the pawn. He took the pawn. And now exchange rooks. Rooks exchanged, and now this pawn is done for. Richard Rapport is up a full pawn. Is he gonna win? Let's see. Now give me the pawn. Rapport defended the pawn. Actually, Rapport could have played a move like this, because after you take, I play this and the pawn is completely mine and your king is just in a really bad position. But I think because of time trouble, he just, defended the pawn. Richard Rapport is 1 minute and Magnus has only 14 seconds. What is Magnus going to play? Magnus is a 2800 and I'm an 1100. I would play this move. I would totally play this move because I'm an 1100, But I don't know how a 2800 and like one of the greatest players in chess would play a move like this. Because Rapport, he took the knight and Magnus resigned. Why did he resign? Because if you take this rook, now I got the rook and this pawn is just going to run so fast, he's going to promote to a queen, completely winning. So Magnus Carlsen lost the game, Rapport won, and that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked the content, like, subscribe, follow for more, and goodbye.